Hello, everyone. It's great to be here. Thank you ever so much for your time in being here, both Peter and myself. I'll introduce Peter in a second, but both Peter and myself really dedicated to try and help as much as we can. Now, today is called How to Double Your Business in 12 months. Now, I want to be clear about this. Peter and I just said to each other, yeah, we can do that in half an hour. And we said that slightly tongue in cheek. So really our message today is, yeah, that'd be fantastic if you can do that. But what we really want is to give you some ideas to grow your business. You might not actually have a goal to double your business in 12 months. You might just want to get a 20% or 50% growth or whatever it is. And if your business is turning over 200 million a year, we might not be able to get you to double it within the next 12 months, but we'll certainly give it a really good go. So thank you for being here. We'll try and make sure that the next sort of half an hour-ish is great value, and you don't waste your time, and we do our best to really try and help. So let me just welcome Peter into the conversation. I've known Peter, I dread to think actually, a long time, certainly way over 20 years. I think we first met at a networking event in and around the Reading area. He's a highly respected business advisor, comes with loads and loads of experience. And welcome to the conversation, Peter. Great to have you here.
No, it's great to be on board, Steve. Yeah, and I'm glad we're going to solve everyone's business problems in 30 minutes.
Oh, yeah, no problem at all. No problem at all. Peter and I share the dubious, although very, very elated situation where we're both Sheffield Wednesday fans, and we've just got promoted. So we're very, very happy about that. But anyway, enough of that. Let's talk about business and what you can do to improve it. So we thought we'd kick off by just trying to give you some general tips on what we think are the key things that you need to do in order to take those first steps, if you will, to doubling your business, or at least creating significant growth. So I'm going to hand over to Peter to give you his take on it. And then when he's done that, I'm going to give you my take on it. And let's just hope they aren't the same. Okay, Peter, over to you.
Okay. I mean, it's a very good question, Steve, actually. How do you double your business in 12 months? Because the first thing I ask a prospect is, why do you want to double your business in 12 months? Are you sure you want to double your business in 12 months? And then I say, what would happen if I doubled your business in 12 months? The reason for that is because it's one of those nice to have situations where, oh, wouldn't it be great if I got twice as much money coming in? Which is true. It's always good. But the question is, what would actually happen? Do you have the capacity to deal with that number of clients that you're talking about? That's the first thing. The second thing is, do you really want to do it? Because I've found that the important thing for any client is for them to actually want to do something. And so the first thing is I listen to them very carefully and try and sort out exactly what they want. Because after all, some business owners really are more interested in having a different kind of life rather than automatically doubling the amount of income in the business. And some are very comfortable where they are. So we have to be very careful. We don't automatically say, oh, you must double your business, because it may be that that's not what's driving them. But if it is, then there are certain things that are important. And I'm quite sure Steve can tell you how to do that in terms of customer service. So any thoughts on what I've said so far, Steve?
Yeah, I think it's a good point. It's not for everybody, and for some people it could be that's a nightmare. I've got so many clients, I'm too busy anyway. But it just depends what you want, and I think that is where it starts. And I know I've listened to you and read your LinkedIn posts, and it comes back to a really important point, and that is, what do you want? If your goal is to double your business and only work 3 days a week, part-time in the mornings, that might be a little bit of an issue. But I do think whatever your goal is, if you're here, let's put it this way: if you're here, if you've come to an event that is about doubling your business, then I think we can assume that you at least want to grow it in some way. My sort of thoughts on that, Peter, are around being a marketing guy. I've been doing this like you have a long time, 28 years myself, and if you think about it, if you're going to double your business and more importantly make more profit, there's only two ways of doing that, and that is one, to reduce costs, and the other to increase sales. We can all reduce costs almost instantly. We can save a little bit here and a little bit there and a little bit more somewhere else. But if we're going to really double our business, then we've got to double our sales. And for me, that comes down to a couple of things. Firstly, focusing on the results that we're getting. What are we currently achieving? How many leads do we create? How many of those do we turn into meetings? How many of those meetings do we turn into sales? And what's our average unit of sale? If my business turns over, I don't know, 500,000, and my average unit of sale is £1,000, then I know that I'm currently creating 500 sales currently in my business. I also know what I need to do in order to double the business. I need to create 1,000 sales. And if you look at the millionaire maths there, or the £1 million maths, if you break that down into, right, okay, well, how much do I need per month? How much do I need per week? And even how much do I need per day? We can do that. I mean, if I just go and have a quick play on my mobile here, and when £1 million, where are we? There we go. Divided by, if I did days, 365. I know we've got weekends and stuff, but let's just say that. So I need 2.7 sales per day of £1,000 to create that. Now I know that I could expand my average unit of sales, selling more expensive things, bundling stuff together, and so on and so forth. But fundamentally, I always think it starts with the maths, Peter. You cannot manage what you do not measure is such a true saying. And yet most businesses, when I talk to them like that, they go, well, I have no idea what my average unit of sale is. How many sales do I get? Well, I don't really know. I've never really worked it out. And that's where the problem lies, I think. Certainly one of the problems.
I think what I would say, Stephen, you're quite right. I mean, it's important to know the numbers. If you don't know the starting point, then it's very difficult to work.
Absolutely, yeah.
And the other thing I would say is go for the easy stuff first.
Yeah.
Don't go for the complicated stuff. So the easy stuff is the best people to sell to are existing customers.
Yes.
If you have got an existing customer who's highly delighted with what you do, and you introduce them to something else, it's quite possible they'll say, well, it worked before, so I trust you, and therefore it'll work again. So one of the things is to make it very clear to your clients exactly what you are capable of selling, not just what you're doing well for them at the moment. And the number of times I've been to clients and I've found that actually their own customers aren't fully aware of the full range of products they've got. I'll tell you what, I chuckle once because I was chatting to on chat on one occasion. His wife came in and he said, oh, can I introduce you to your wife? I said, yeah, sure. And lovely lady, and they got chatting, and she said, oh, what's all this about then? And he said, well, this chap's come to assist me with my business and what have you. And I said, oh, could you tell me what you do then? And she went through what she did, and she sold various products. He sold various products. And when they'd finished talking, he said to her, I didn't realize you sold those. She said,
his own wife, and he didn't know.
Yeah, his own wife. They weren't fully aware of what they actually sold, which meant that they were buying from other people. when
Yeah.
they could have been keeping it. So, you know, if a husband and wife aren't clear on what they're, mind you, that's not unusual, is it? But I mean, but the
We don't
point
even know what we're having for tea, let alone about what we're
yeah,
selling.
that's true. But the thing is, don't take things for granted. Don't assume that they. Well, I've told them loads of times that I sell these. People don't listen until they're actually wanting that product.
No.
They're completely deaf. As soon as they think, oh, I could do with so and so, and they suddenly hear about so and so, they suddenly, oh, I could do with those.
Yeah.
But if they're not in the business of buying that particular item, then they probably won't realize that you've got it to sell. So I think it's always good to listen to your customers very carefully and say, are you happy with what I'm doing at the moment? Yes. Oh, so and what other things are you doing at the moment? And get them to talk about the business. And very often you'll get some clues, and they'll say, oh, I've just gone into doing something else. I say, oh, well, we could help you with that.
Yeah.
So it's don't take clients for granted. Listen to them very carefully. Understand the business. Understand how they change in the businesses. Because as you know, Steve, you know, we have to be looking into the future all the time with businesses. We've got to say, right, how's technology changing? How's society changing? How are the markets changing?
Yeah.
And if we don't listen to our customers in terms of how they perceive the future, then how can we help them?
Yeah. Do you know, it's funny you say that. By amazing coincidence, literally, I think about 2 days ago, I sent out an email to all my clients saying it is not your customer's job to understand everything that you sell. It's your job to make sure they do. So, you know, again, we're kindred spirits, you and I think, Peter. We definitely sing from the same hymn sheet, and I totally agree. I remember actually years ago, somebody came on my, I think it was a LinkedIn training, and you know, trying to be good at customer service. I followed them up like 3 weeks later. I said, oh, you know, just call and see how it's going. He said, well, you know, we've done a bit. He said, but we've been busy because we've just got a company in to design us a website. And I went, oh, we could have done that for you. And he went, oh, I didn't know you did websites. I'd have definitely paid you. I'd have definitely got you to do it if I'd have known. I said, we got this company. We just paid them £3,500 to do their website. You know, they paid me 150 quid for the day's LinkedIn training. And, you know, whose fault's that? It's totally and utterly my fault. I didn't make them aware, and so they went elsewhere, and they said it'd definitely give that work to me. So, you know, it's a really good example, I think, of you know, how important that is, and you know, maximizing your current customers. Jay Abraham, who's a marketing guy I've learned a lot from over the years, says that there are only 3 ways of growing a business. 1 is to get new customers. 2 is to increase the average unit of sale, the average amount of money each customer spends each time they buy. And 3 is to increase the frequency of repurchase. And he gives an example. If you were a supermarket, you got to get more people in the door. You've got to get them to fill their baskets more, or get them to fill it with more expensive goods. And you've got to get them to come back again and again and again and only buy from your supermarket. And, you know, that simplistically, that's really what people need to be focusing on, isn't it?
I think while we're on about existing customers as well, existing clients, do you remember the product client matrix that Peter Thompson?
I do. Yeah.
I mean, that is a really useful. I've used this with a number of clients where you get them to list the top 20 clients, top 20 customers, and across the top I said, right, what are all the products and services you provide? And that goes across the top, and I said, right, let's fill in. Let's put a green tick where you've got a particular customer buying a particular product.
Yeah.
And I said, right, let's go through them now and see which of these customers do you think might be interested in these products. And you put an orange tick in there.
Yeah.
And you say, right, okay. So why don't you go through your customers, give them a call and say, how's it all going? You know, are you happy with what we do? We're providing you with so-and-so at the moment. How are you finding it? Are you finding it useful? Now, if they say, no, it's rubbish, even that is useful.
It is.
Telling you something that you're doing wrong.
Yeah,
The most valuable thing you can get is feedback from customers, especially unhappy customers. Not that I'm sure it ever happens to you or I, Steve, but the fact remains that it's better to find out from a customer before you've lost them than to lose them and you don't know why you've lost them.
It's that old saying, isn't it, Peter? You know, most people don't complain; they just don't come back.
Exactly. It's like your members of staff. That's another issue, isn't it? You don't talk to members of staff. You take them for granted, and then you suddenly find that they've given you notice, and you don't know why. You think, well, he never complained about anything. No, of course he doesn't complain about anything. He doesn't want to fall out with you. But did you spend much time talking to him or her? You know, are you comfortable with what, are you happy with the situation you've got? Are we developing you sufficiently? Where do you see your future? You know, if we don't talk to people, I mean, as I've said to you, Steve, on many occasions, there are two things that drive a business. One is cash. If you don't have any cash, you're dead. And the other is people, because you need your people to get customers. You need your people to manage suppliers. And you need to have people to stop you having to drive yourself into distraction by having to overwork yourself. You need to be able to delegate to good people.
Yeah, absolutely. I was listening to, I don't know whether you know a guy called Dan Bradbury, but he runs a pretty good podcast and I often listen to it. And he has this, you know, like a lot of us do, that, you know, I have this cliche, you know, there's always a way if you're committed, is one of my little sayings and beliefs. And Dan says, if you want a better business, become a better business owner. And I think that's like it's like, I love profound, simple stuff that is like barely obvious, but also really, really powerful, I think, you know. And I think that's another area, Peter, where people go wrong. You know, and it's difficult. I understand that. If you're running a business, you're often working, you know, 12 hours a day or whatever it is, you know, you're putting a lot of time and effort in. You haven't really got time to do everything. And one of the things that often is missing is working on yourself, you know, doing the training, having a coach or an advisor to help you, you know, because the facts are we cannot be good at everything. You know, it is absolutely impossible for us to be good at everything, isn't it? Are you okay, Peter?
Yeah,
did you lose it? We didn't lose you. We could see you. I could just see the look of confusion on your face. You were. I knew there was a problem. Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah. So I just said, you know, one of the biggest problems that I think is, you know, that business owners have is they don't spend the time working on themselves. You know, from a training, getting advice, you know, and if they do get advice, it's often from friends or family or, you know, not necessarily the best people in the world, probably the best-hearted people in the world, but not necessarily the best people to go for advice to. So just wondered what your thoughts and take is on that.
Well, it's funny, Steve. I was listening to, I don't know whether you listen to Radio 5 in the morning.
No.
If you listen to Radio 5, 6 till 7, it's about business.
Oh, is it? Oh, wow. I didn't know that.
No, it's excellent. Because I'm usually, in fact, actually, it starts at 5, because I'm normally up exercising 5 till 6. But it's 5 till 6, sorry, not 6. That's why you don't know about it, Steve. You're not up.
No, I am up. I listen to podcasts and
all right,
training and stuff like that.
You know, Admiral, the insurance company, in Wales, and he was saying about the fact that he says, "Why are you in Wales?" He said, "Well, they offered us £1 million to set up in Wales." He said, "We didn't really need it, but in actual fact, we're probably worth about 3 billion, the amount of work we brought to Wales. So they've had a good deal for $1 million."
Yeah.
But he was talking about leadership, and he was saying, "Why have we got rubbish managers?" And he was saying that the key to productivity, the key to staff retention, the key to customer retention is all about your people. And if you don't manage them correctly, you'll have a rubbish business. And he says, we've got too many rubbish managers that haven't taken the effort to actually learn about what management's all about.
Yeah.
And don't actually appreciate the people that the most likely reason for somebody leaving one company and going to another is because they don't like the manager, or they don't feel they're being managed correctly, or they don't feel they're being treated fairly. And if you've got a big turnover of people, how do you look after your customers? How do you look after your suppliers? How do they look after
How do you keep in touch with your customers as well? You know? Yeah. No, I get that. I really do. You know, talking of which, I was at a seminar, must be about, I don't know, 6 months, 8 months ago, something like that, up in Birmingham. I was speaking there, and it was one of these things like a multi-speaker event. They had, I don't know, 6 speakers in the day, and I did the after lunch, you know, the graveyard shift as it's known, just after lunch. And I got up there, and there's, say, about 1,000 people in the room, all business owners, all senior people. And I said, before I start, just want to find out a little bit of your background. Tell me, hands up, who's responsible for sales in the room? I literally got 1,000 hands. 1,000. I said, okay. So next question is, hands up, who's done any sales training at all in the last year? I got about 50 hands. 50. I said the rest of it. You've got 950 businesses in this room whose salesperson couldn't be bothered. I actually used a stronger word than bothered. Couldn't be bothered to get any sales training at all. I said, you should sack them. You should, you know, sack yourself. I said, obviously, I'm being slightly tongue-in-cheek here, but, you know, if you're going to, you know, one tip, if you're going to double your business, you better get better at selling, you know, and you've got to, you know, people are these days often really call reluctant, you know, pick up the phone. I think you said right at the beginning, Peter, it doesn't have to be complicated. No. You don't have to do the SEO stuff and all that. So, I mean, that's all good stuff. But fundamentally, the more people you speak to, the more money will end up in your bank account, you know, and whether that's customers, whether that's staff, whether that's prospects, you know, it all applies, doesn't it? You know, I mean, you and I are here today talking to a bunch of people and getting this out on LinkedIn, Facebook, YouTube, and this will create marketing collateral for you and I forever. You know, this is not just a live session that we're doing now, but this will be recorded. Well, this is being recorded, and it'll be there. It'll be out there. It'll pick up, you know, people listening to it again and again and again over, you know, a long period of time. So, you know, and that's what I think people need to do, you know.
You've disillusioned me now, Steve. You've disillusioned me now. I thought we were just doing this for fun. I didn't realise we got a reason for doing it.
Yeah, I'm enjoying it. Yeah.
No, but you're quite right, and it comes back to leadership because, again, you know, if you're a manager, what sales training have you given your salespeople?
Yeah.
You know, if it's good sales training, it's not necessarily cheap, but it comes back. It comes back in spades if you're prepared to invest a bit of money in your people and get them to really get the hang of what sales is all about.
Yeah, the cost is irrelevant. All that matters is the return on investment.
It's the return on investment that counts at the end of the day.
You know, if they go on a training course and then don't do anything, it's a waste of money. If they go on a training course and double their double their sales, you know, it could be worth, who knows, you know, depends what you turn over again. But you know,
but again, it comes down to managers again, doesn't it? You know, before you send someone on a training course, do they understand why they're going to? And salespeople hate training courses. I mean, they don't like them because they're away from the customers and they feel that they're losing money when you're training them.
Again, just going back to my saying, Peter, there's always a way if you're committed. But I do my training a little bit like you. 7 to 7:50. If you looked at my diary, it'd say every day. It says 7 to 7:15. Organizing my day. That's what it says. 7:15 to 7:30 is 7:15 to 7:45 is sales training, and 7:45 to 8:15 is marketing training. That's an hour a day, and all that involves is getting up a bit earlier, spending, setting that up, and making sure that I'm constantly up to date with the stuff that I need to be up to date with. And there's no reason, if you're in a business where you're driving along in your car, then go and get some iPod, or go and get some. I still got
Audible.
Audible. Go and get Audible. I got this book here. I just pulled this up, actually. It's a brilliant book, The Road Less Stupid. I'm sure people go and buy this book. It's brilliant. I'm not on commission, but you should go and buy that book. And
there's another one. Oversubscribed.
Oversubscribed. Yeah,
I'm working with a client now on
Daniel Priestley. Yeah.
And he's working wonders. You wouldn't believe how quickly he's actually growing the client base. It's quite amazing what you can do.
The great thing is that we can access, some of the world's leading experts, gain from their mistakes and the things that they've done over 20, 30 years for 15 quid. It's just ridiculous, isn't it?
Even free, Steve, because
even free. Somebody on YouTube,
Radio 5. Listen to
Radio 5, or come and listen to Peter and I. We'll do it again. Okay, Peter. So we're coming to the end. So two things I want to go through with you. Firstly, what's your final tip, as it were? And if you're trying to think of one, I can go first. But what's your final tip? And also, if somebody wants your help, right, where do they go? What do they do? Website, phone number, email, whatever it is you want to give out.
Yeah, sure.
Fire away.
As far as the tips concerned, honestly, there are so many tips. What I would just finish with is cash flow. Make sure that you've got your cash flow sorted, and that usually means that you've got sufficient money coming in, and it also means that you need to manage that cash flow as best you can. Businesses only fail when they run out of cash. So you've got to make sure you don't run out of cash. As far as contacting me is concerned, and the screen's gone blank again for some reason, I'm not quite sure why, then what I would say is you can contact me at UKBA. So if you go to www.ukba.co.uk, go to the Thames Valley region, and you'll see that I'm the chair of the Thames Valley business, and you can contact me there, or you can call me on 077 222 33304, and happy to set up a one-to-one with you at any time.
Okay, fantastic. Okay, great. So mine would be, I'm going to say, work out what is the one thing that you could do today and tomorrow that's going to have the biggest effect on your business. What's the one thing? There are loads and loads of things, but let's start off by just focusing on what you can do to raise your game in your business. To spend a little bit of time, as I do every morning, what I call thinking time. Even if it's just like quarter of an hour every day. I have Monday is marketing, Tuesday is sales, Wednesday is customer service, Thursday is people, so managing my people, and Friday is finance. And I just spend quarter of an hour sitting down thinking about what I can do today to improve in one of those areas of my business. And I think small improvements day by day, if we keep it consistent, it's like getting better in sport. If I Peter, I used to play table tennis at a top level, if I worked on my forehand one day and then my backhand the day after, and then back on my forehand again, and so on, if I worked and worked and worked on each individual element of my table tennis game, it's exactly the same as working on each individual element of your business game. So I hope that's of value to you. So if you want to get hold of me, you probably guessed there. Where is it? There's my website. On there, you'll see a big gold button. And it's where you can gain access to me. You can book a meeting in my diary at a time that's right for you. And we can meet and we can do a Zoom meeting. I don't do a hard sell. I just try to help you, explain, get an understanding of what your business is right now, where you want to take it. And I'll even give you some tips on how I think you can get there. So thank you, Peter. It's been great. I've got to say, it went so quick, didn't it? I can't believe it. Yeah. Over half an hour now. So thank you ever so much. Thank you for sticking with us as well. It's great that you've done so. So a big thank you all round. And we will try and do this again one time. And don't forget, anybody that's listening, I do a LinkedIn Live every day at 12:30. If you want to come along to any of those, you'd be very welcome. And I know Peter's part of an organisation. It's the swim. Is that right?
Second Wednesday in Maidenhead.
Maidenhead. So go and meet, if you're not too far away. Go to Peter's event, and you can meet him in person there. So
the next one's on the 14th, by the way.
14th, perfect. Okay, brilliant. Thanks, Peter. Thanks ever so much, everybody, and see you again soon. Bye.
Thanks, Steve. Thanks for the invitation.